Hello friends, welcome back to a new episode of Noobs in Disguise, the show where we have an anonymous replay and two professional gamers trying to figure out what MMR this replay is at. Today we're looking at the Zerg player Knight, who's going to be facing off against our Protoss player Blazing. And what feels for like the 5th week in a row, we're actually having a pretty okay level here, Lambo.
Yes, you can already see that the openers have some thought put into it, although the Protoss opener is not normal. He's going gasless and he's making his Nexus late. I know that there is a builder like this, so you need to educate me on if this is a normal one.
Not this one.
Nexus 17.
This one doesn't exist. He's been cooking this one up himself. I'm not willing to taste it. So the build that is gasless with a gate first usually goes into a 17 Nexus, not a 19 Nexus. And then
look at the scouting probe.
He lost it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I like to eat the words that this is going to be a high-level game. I saw the gateway timing, and okay, now this is not it. Second gate. Oh my god, what are we doing here? This is pain. I think this is just significantly worse than any of the builds. This takes the worst thing of all builds, combines it together. Look at the core timing here. What is this?
You can play Nexus first, 2 gate, have the same thing. Probably start your adepts earlier and then have more probes. It's just better at everything.
Yeah. He really has the worst of everything combined in one. I love that the Zerg as well. He's going to go for 6 early links. It's going to run them across the map, walk into a full wall with a zealot in it. There's a lot of links here. 10 links. What the hell is this, Lambo?
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know. But I am very happy that we're back to actually noobs in Disguise, because the last 3 or so weeks, I feel like we're pros in Disguise.
Yeah, that's true. It's too easy, right? The higher level ones.
Yeah, it's too easy. We also don't really get that much of a guess discrepancy whenever we have those replays.
Yeah, it's gonna be maybe we've actually been very close as well. Because that's our level, you know. We can feel the difference between a 5'8" and a 5'9"er, a 6'1"er and a 6'2"er. There's a big difference there. Yeah.
You say that, but the last episode was 5'5" and we guessed 5'7" both.
Yeah, but okay, it's relatively close, you know. Like it's in the round, it's like one standard deviation away. Yeah, it's just doable.
Okay. We can tell the difference between a 5'8" and a 5'9", but not a 5'7" and a 5'5".
That's too far away from me. I know
that's
what
too far
that's like. Down there is a different beast. But 5'8", 5'9". I said 5'8", 5'9", and 6'1", 6'2". Never mentioned 5'5". We have a Forged Twilight.
So, out of curiosity, to not... I know there's stuff happening in the game, but what MMR is your Terran?
Actually, I hit 5'750" the other day.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
And what about your Zerg?
I hit 5'258". I don't know what it is. I think like 5'3", 5'4", something like that.
Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. But you should be familiar with those rangers. Either way, the Protoss going for all 3 tech buildings at the same time. Forged Twilight Robo. This is not too uncommon, but usually much later after you drop the 3rd base, and usually also there is Oracles.
Yes.
But it resembles knowledge of how to, which buildings you need in a macro game, sort of.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it.
Yeah. I can actually feel that it's not the correct. Yeah, it's not the correct order, and we're also lacking the Stargate, and we've built a sentry, which is building sentries before you start any tech. It irks me. It always does. It always will. It always has. And seeing it here, it still hurts me. We have a massive supply block as well. So an observer first. Observer first is actually a classic lower level move. It's because they want to get information, and the observer is such a kind of a clean path to information, you know?
I think it's similar with the sentry, because the sentry gives you safety. Like on lower level also, they usually make a blind battery. As we're going to lose a lot of links for a Cancellator, which absolutely is not worth it.
No, but it was a cancel.
He's distracting the hallucination.
Yeah.
And he's forcing cannons. I don't know why, but the cannons going up.
Cannons to the right.
In the worst location possible. They don't cover the natural. They also don't cover the 3rd base if you just take the direct attacking path.
Only if the player attacks from the right side are these cannons and batteries useful. That's just lovely. We're gonna get an Evo upgrade now. It's going to be the melee one. We have 2 Evos, and this is gonna be our first little upgrade. I feel like it's gonna be melee and carapace. We're not gonna see melee and range. This is a classic move as well. Get all the upgrades for one type of unit. I like the philosophy behind that as well.
You might have jinxed it now that he put the Hydra in. I felt like this was an Ultralisk player.
Yeah.
The way he set up already, I was digging it. But now that he put on the Hydra, then maybe the second Evo was just a fake. For the Ultra style.
I'm also not digging it as much anymore, to be honest. I've lost its touch. It's actually gonna attack on the side where the cannons in the wall are. Please tell me that he's not actually gonna walk into this wall. That would make me extremely sad. We have a Templar Archives on the way. No, don't attack into this.
Okay, he sees it and he backs off.
Yeah, solid. Oh, it's gonna be Carapace. Nice.
Okay. Which is not actually that useful of an upgrade.
No, it's bad,
Protoss,
but
yeah.
It's lore accurate, you know?
It's exactly, yeah.
it feels good, you know. You get one. It's also when you play like the campaign, you get like upgrades for certain types of units. You know, you don't mix mech and bio. You know, you just get either the bio upgrades or the mech upgrades. You don't get both. And it's the same here. It's disgusting to mix that. No, I like that. I feel like sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it seems inefficient. You know, one thing that always triggered me was when I would play ZVPs, and I would have 2-2-0, +2 melee, +2 missile, and 0 carapace, and the Protoss has 3-0-0. And I tune into the Protoss streamers, and they're talking about how far I have there in upgrades, even though they have 1 upgrade less than me. But actually, they are 1 upgrade ahead.
Yeah.
It annoys the shit out of me. I don't know why, but it just feels so stupid for me to go make 4 upgrades. They have 3, and they tell me that they win because they have better upgrades.
Yeah, that's life. You should have picked a different race, mate. What can I tell you?
Or make carapace upgrades.
Yeah, also true. Yeah, that would fix a lot of your trouble. But then again, most of the time you do need a mix of range and melee, right? You can't just... There's very little Zerg compositions that have only melee, like unless you're playing Pure Ling Bane, I guess. Which is exactly what Knight is doing over here. Pure Ling Bane while tacking into an infestation pit, as well as a Lurker Den, getting the Hydra speed upgrade. We also have 2 Overseers with this. Do we have Storm? Oh.
Yes. Yes, we do.
That's a problem.
That is a problem for the Zerg. Until the Lurkers are out, because then the Protoss is going to run into some issues, since his units are not very good against Lurkers. Besides the 1 Immortal that he has. He's also taking it into a Robo Bay, which I'm not sure... I feel like with the way he's been playing, this tends to be Colossus. Which also wouldn't be that good against Lurkers, but we'll see how the Zerg uses the Lurkers. I feel like if this guy makes 7 Lurkers, he will still run the Ling Bane into the Storms, lose everything, and then he only has 7 Lurkers left.
Yeah, I think so too. Without seismic spines, preferably. Look at the wall of the Zerg, or of the Protoss as well, the third. The thing on the left. What do you think the purpose of that is?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's a good question. I think it looks neat. We can put units there. It's difficult to surround them.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Aesthetics over functionality. I like it.
I mean, the cannon is nicely tucked in, and that cannon covers a lot of the entry.
That's true, I guess. It feels very tower defensey, like that are mazes. I don't mind it. Looks good. Okay, we have 8 gas for the Zerg, of which 7 are mining currently. There's a 5th base as well. Protoss has a phenomenal amount of Templar here, 9. Against the 7 Lurkers, they are out. And we have the range upgrade coming in as well. I'm kind of waiting for an attack here out of the Zerg player. This feels like a prime opportunity to move across the map and lose all your low HP units to Storm.
I think so too. I also think it would be really cool if you just made the Lurkers to take off the wall on the right because it's exposed. I mean, that is the best position to siege from anyways, so...
Is it? Well, what about the position near the rocks?
I think it's pretty easy to get surrounded there. But I mean, yeah, it's better since there's less static defense there. I wouldn't mind him going there either.
Okay. He's actually going to use the Lurkers. He's doing it.
Yeah. He saw the exposed wall and he's like, you know what? What Zerg unit has enough range to kill this? Lurkers.
Yeah, it's smart. He's waiting for the seismic spines, or almost waiting for the seismic spines. Nothing better than almost waiting for an upgrade to finish.
He borrowed them, so one of them is in cannon range and only 3 of them are in range of the gateways. That is hilarious. Okay, now the seismic spines finishes and more of them can attack. Still only 4 out of 6.
Moves forward a little bit. And now moves forward back. The 2 that were being attacked didn't get to stay. Love to see it. Would not like being a lurker in this guy's army. As 3 of them have now disappeared. Lurkers also have been revealed, so the big surprise is kind of gone. Protoss with much superior upgrades here. The Zerg player only at 1-1 on his range, but also already on 2-1 and has double forges, so completely out-upgrading his opponent here. 6 more lurkers on the way. It's going to go up to 12. Spire. What do you think the follow-ups are going to be? TOS is just going to stay on ground and try to win the game. And I feel like Zerg maybe eventually Brutes.
I hope not. I think it would be lame if he goes Broodlords. I mean, my dream would be Ultras. The Protoss composition is so extremely awful against Broodlord, against Ultras, but to be honest, it's awful against everything. As long as the lurkers are siege, they should be good enough as well. Like, you cannot run into this surely as Protoss. Well, he's trying. He's hitting a lot of storms.
Oh,
this went better than expected, to be honest, for the Protoss.
Yeah. I think he started it with 17 Templar or something. Now has 12 left.
Yeah.
Which is still a lot. Like, that's much more than the average Protoss player has. That honestly went much better than I thought it would. But I guess if you have that many storms, you just literally blanket everything. I just thought they were going to die quicker as well. But the lurkers, definitely need a buff versus the Templar shields. Still lots of links as well here in this army, which are just going to disappear against any amount of storms.
Yeah, it's not a very... Like, the Ling Bane doesn't have that much synergy with the lurkers. Usually, if you play an army like this, you would use the Ling Bane on a different control group to counterattack and force your opponent to, attack into you. Try to deal economic damage and use the lurkers to be safe, or try to siege somewhere, make his army go there, then attack at another position with the Ling Bane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am very afraid with these Ling Bane numbers against these High Templar numbers. It is also kind of scary for the Protoss, by the way. If he doesn't pay attention, the Banelings connect with his army is just paper.
Yeah, the Banelings, lurkers, I mean, everything he has here is really weak against Splash, to be honest. Like, he now has a couple of Archons to kind of beef up his army a bit more. But with the amount of Zealots and Templar he has, that's a lot of supply in units that die in a couple of seconds if you don't pay attention for a couple of seconds. We're up to 10 gas as well here for the Zerg. Not all of them mining quite yet, but that's really solid income all around. Gold now being taken on the left side. His right side base surely is going to die. I'd love for this Ling Bane Hydra thing to be a counterattack, not so much a flank.
Well, he's... Oh my god, no.
He stormed himself!
Yeah. He also stormed the same location like 20 times. Storm doesn't stack. Yeah. Not sure if he knows. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the next patch. You just wait, buddy. Lurk's never gonna have a chance again. Protoss kind of wins the fight, but also loses it. As now he's gonna get cleaned up by these links. Resources lost are relatively close, but Zerg has just been mining much more. I'd love for these links to just go across the map. Does he have Adrenal? No, he doesn't. Without Adrenal, maybe it's better to stay home. But with Adrenal, if he can go across the map, maybe pick up some base on the side. The 5th, for example. Even the 4th, you could try and attack into it a little bit with the links. See if there's anything you can do. Golden Aura, perhaps not the greatest map for it. But if you have this many links and you just clean someone up, I would want to make something happen with those bad boys. 6 Corruptors. We have the chitinous plating, so potential for the Ultra Switch is finally here. I'm not digging this amount of Ling Bane, though, that's currently being constructed.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it either, but I think he has a very sizable lead. Honestly, whenever we watch these levels, I feel like you get such an advantage just by having more workers. Because I feel like both players are too bad to kill each other.
Yeah.
Which happens very often in the games we watch. And then the guy who made more workers just ends up with a bigger bank and can actually remax.
It's also because the maxed out armies tend to be so crap anyway. Like, they're not armies that kind of stay around, you know? They tend to trade out the entire time. Yeah. Although now... Yeah, sorry?
He's making Broodlords now, and I don't think the Protoss even has Blink. So I wonder what the Protoss is gonna do in terms of anti-air. Since he doesn't have any extra Stargates. Well, he has 0 Stargates. He also doesn't have Blink. So the reprogramming move here for the Zerg would be to just go at the army with the Brute Lords and counterattack with the rest, because you really only need the Brute Lords.
Yeah.
You can leave some Banelings at home as well for the Mass Zealot counterattack. That should happen on a higher level. This is producing Colossus 3 at a time, which is not the move. Not even against a Link Bane, honestly.
No, what against Link Bane, this would be a sick army. Ooh, he's gonna go for a defensive Zealot warp in. Colossus helping out here as well, as the Banelings eventually are gonna die. This shouldn't really deal too much damage, I hope. Well, loses all of his probes. Not the end of the world. This felt good for the toss.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if his army is actually... Like, he has 7 High Templars and he has 6 Colossus, but if you just run in there with mass Banelings, I guess with the Storms it should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the Zealots are still gonna die anyway, right? Because they're gonna charge in. So
Always.
I feel, yeah, the Banelings are just gonna get their word, you know, their money's worth either way. I'm really afraid of the Links, though. And I love that we're seeing more Brute Lords. Although Ultras also would have been cool. We're also seeing an Ultra, actually. We have 2 Spires. We have 2 Spires.
Yeah, double upgrades. I mean, this Zerg is really good at upgrading his units. Not that good at the rest of the game, but he's very good at getting the upgrades. As... Yeah, the Protoss is now hitting a 9 Colossus timing.
That's
No, 10 actually. You can have 10 Colossus, 22 Zealots, and 10 High Templars. Not a single unit that actually shoots up. I'm not sure what he's gonna do with the Brood Lords, and I have the feeling that the Zerg will not realize that there's no Entire and still donate his entire ground army to the Storms and the Colossus.
That is a possibility. I don't think there's a second control group on the Zerg most of the time. Everything kind of moves as one big blob.
Oh, he did.
Does he?
He has Brood Lords on
Oh,
a he has
okay.
Brood Lords on a separate.
Ah, okay, well, in that case, he might be capable of doing it. He's now gonna attack a base that isn't there yet. Lovely move. He's just exposing his entire left side.
Oh no, he's accidentally gonna force the Protoss into doing the correct move, which is to counterattack, which I'm not sure the Protoss would have realized. I mean, surely if you realize your entire army doesn't shoot air, and there's Brood Lords, you need to do something else than fight the Brood Lords, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he would have naturally maybe figured it out, but now, yeah, now he's kind of accidentally forcing it.
Yeah, that's what I would think as well. Although losing one base, not the end of the world here either. We still have a huge bank for the Zerg. A huge amount of brutes. We do have Stargates on the way. Do we have any upgrades? No, 0 air weapon upgrades. So it feels like even if you're starting to get Stargate units at this point, and they're going to be poorly upgraded, what's the point, you know?
Yeah, what is the point indeed? I mean, it just looks so funny to me. I have never seen 10 Colossus. In general, I think. I guess back in PvP, Heart of the Swarm. You
actually used to get like 12 Colossus, because there was nothing that killed them. Yeah. 12 Colossus, 13 Colossus. And then just mass Colossus. That was actually very stupid. The War of the Worlds meta. I completely forgot that existed. Dude, Broodlings are not gonna survive though. Look at this. Storms? Storms?
This is a surreal fight for me to watch, as the Broodlords have no counter besides the Storms, I suppose. And it's hard for the Broodlords because they're not automatically targeting the High Templars. The High Templars run too far forward, and at this point Colossus are left for themselves. He almost killed all of the Broodlords, by the way, with the Storms. Yeah, he needed more High Templars left over. He's now starting 3 carriers. Warp in Stalkers, my man! It's 6 Broodlords, literally 1 run of Stalkers, and you're gonna win.
Did you see how sad the Colossus looked against the one Ultra that had like 50 HP remaining? It did not deal a lot of damage. Stalkers indeed now targeting down these brutes. There's still 2 remaining. Cannons helping out as well. No, it's not. It's just shooting at Broodlings, I think. As 1 brute will continue shooting. I actually think that this might be it, right? 11 more Corruptors on the way. A bunch more Links. More Ultras as well running forward. There's nothing for the toss.
Yeah, it has to be. The Colossus force has been cleaned out entirely. And Knight is also remixing with Corruptors, which already have way better upgrades than the carriers that are on the way for Protoss. So yeah, the carriers are pretty much that supply. And supply is not something that the Protoss has much to begin with. So yeah, it's looking very good for the Zerg. As I said before, he's basically just outmined his opponent, and he's traded well enough. Yeah,
it's relatively close in trades. Protoss is only on 5 bases. It's now taking a 6th. Does have a lot of minerals, so you never know what can happen with a couple of well-timed Zealot counterattacks, you know? You run in with 20 zealots in 4 bases at the same time. Pay attention to none, and all of a sudden you have a win on your hands. It has happened in the past, and perhaps still possible with the amount of minerals here in the bank. Lots of drones gonna go down on the left side. Sadly, no second zealot warp in is being sent out to the right. That could really do a number on the Zerg player here, but it's not quite happening. 11 more zealots now are being warped in. Where is that? Oh, it is actually the right side. It's being done sequentially though, rather than simultaneously.
Yes, yes. The Zerg army still is attacking though, so the run-by has some good potential. It's just that the Protoss has a bad army. He just doesn't have an army that is competitive at all with what the Zerg has to offer at this point. I feel like the only chance was if the Zerg made all of his corruptors into Broodlords and then didn't have anti-air for the carriers, and then at the same time you counter-attack. The Zealots are not even counter-attacking. There's no detection, so the DTs will clean up the ground army eventually, but the Zealots are gonna charge into their death. No, he thought differently. So that's a good call by the Protoss. Little late though for the good calls. I think he needed some of those earlier.
Yeah, 8, 9, 10 minutes ago. Just having any amount of anti-air in the army, except the storms, would have been nice as well. Or just getting a faster Stalker warp in, honestly, would have been huge. If the moment he loses like 2 Colossus, bad game!
What the heck?
This is the first time he's ever lost with his mass Colossus army. He's like, man, I've crafted the ultimate splash army. You just built air units. This is not a good game.
I think if you have this replay, or actually even just a Masters League player, I think you would win this fight. Because he had so much storm, but first of all he stacked it, and then second of all he move commanded all of his units in. If he just kited and kept storming, I actually think he would have won it. But obviously the Zerg, with the way the Zerg player has controlled this army as well.
Yeah.
Because as you said, the Broodlings just disappeared. They didn't do anything.
Nothing. They were used. They're pointless. Completely pointless. I was surprised. Colossus might have a future after all, as long as you get 10 of them. It's a lot of supply though in a unit that doesn't shoot off. I think it's your turn to go first here, Lambo.
It's my turn to go first. So the macro was alright. The early game was, the build orders were somewhat resembling normal build orders. I think this was too bad to be diamond. I think this was too good to be gold. So we're in platinum. And this was the European server, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be a 30 MMR. So 3030.
Really? 3030. Okay. And I wanted to go for 3258.
Okay. So we're once again pretty close.
Yeah. Actually, it's crazy because in my mind it started so high, so I feel like I might still be too high because I've been deducting points rather than starting at a reasonable thing. Because the first 35 seconds, they kind of tricked me.
Yeah, he probe scouted at the correct time.
Well,
and the hatch went down in 16. Yeah, I mean, your guess diamond 3 and my guess platinum 1. So we're actually off by 1 league.
Okay, let's see. MMR. Oh my God, server EU. It was sent in by Hollow, and the MMR is 3075.
Ooh,
that's a sick guess. That's really close.
Yeah, I'm happy with that guess.
Yeah, you should be. That's actually going to be it for us this week. But do not worry, Lambo. You know why they shouldn't worry?
Why?
Because we're back next week as well. 9 p.m. Central European time on the Wednesday again. Be sure to check it out. Noobs in the Skies every week to make your Wednesday the best Wednesday it has ever been. See you then. Bye-bye.